when I was 8 years old, I got off the bus again for probably the 15th time to my mom having an ambulance in the driveway where she had overdosed on antidepressant medicine. And so she was always struggling with depression and alcoholism as long as I can remember. She went to every mental hospital in the state of Tennessee. She just struggled with suicide and depression and alcoholism. And because of that, and not having Jesus in my home, what I turned to try to find acceptance was to hang out with the other kids that were hanging out together that had broken homes. Because I felt acceptance there because they understood what I was going through. And so when you hang out with other kids that come from broken homes, you do what they do. And so I started to smoke pot to fit in, and smoking marijuana just led me to taking pills and drinking and doing meth and just all of those things, one compromise after another. And for a long time, I didn't believe that marijuana was a gateway drug. As a child, you don't listen to those things. You think, I know best, especially in the home that I was raised in. And so I thought I could do a better job at raising myself than my mom. And so that's what I tried to do. When I was 12, my dad got remarried to someone, and so that started another cycle of rejection and abandonment in my life. And so I believed the lie of the enemy from a small child because my mother was an alcoholic. And I believed that for once, the beginning of it, once that I wasn't worth my mom to quit drinking, and now I wasn't worth for my father to stick around. And I was 12 years old, feeling abandoned and rejected. And so that led me to just more drugs to try to cope, more things to try to understand it. Like I said, I didn't have Jesus. And so by the time I was 15, I was in a relationship with a man that was 6 years older than me, who shot me up with morphine for the first time. And so I got pregnant by him. And I tell my testimony pretty raw, so you understand where I'm coming from, so you know the depth of how far Jesus went to get to me in his love. Praise the Lord. And so at 15, I had my first son at 6.5 months pregnant. I lost him because I was just not ready to have a baby. My body didn't, I've got a rare cervix disorder, and so I went into labor. They didn't catch it in time, and so I had my first son, and I buried my first son when I was 15 years old. And because of that pain, I just continued to get worse into addiction. I just continued to numb the pain with drugs. And so when I was 15 years old, I got my GED, lost my first son, and then when I was in this relationship with this man, and we became drug addicts together. And so at 15, I became a full-blown drug addict, and I was a full-blown IV drug addict until I was 23. By the time I was 23, I buried my mother, my father, my brother, my first son, and my grandmother. My dad died whenever I was 19 on my birthday. My mother died when I was 18 from multiple sclerosis. My brother killed himself in the same year. Our house burned, and 6 months later, my kids went into state's custody. After I had them for 4 years, emotionally, I had abandoned them from my drug addiction and the relationship I was in. And so that's when Kathy Tyler stepped into my life.
Praise the Lord. Bless her.